mamá que pasaron aviones y yo escuché, ¡ay, mamá, mira otra!
So, the big story right now isn't just the U.S. strike in Venezuela. It's the protests calling for President Trump's impeachment after those strikes. And the core argument behind those protests is this: Trump ordered U.S. military action without informing Congress, meaning, critics say, the strikes were illegal. Here's what happened. On January 3rd, 2026, U.S. forces launched a rapid operation in Caracas, Venezuela. It lasted less than 30 minutes. There were airstrikes, explosions, casualties reported inside Venezuela. And during that operation, Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro and his wife were captured and flown to the United States to face criminal charges. Trump called it a large-scale strike coordinated with law enforcement. He even said the U.S. would run Venezuela temporarily during a transition and involve itself in the oil sector. But back in the U.S., that move triggered instant backlash. Protesters gathered outside the White House, at state capitals, and across major cities, demanding impeachment or even the 25th Amendment. Online, lawmakers and activists warned that this was an undeclared war. And a huge part of that anger comes down to Congress, because the Trump administration did not notify Congress before the strikes. Secretary of State Marco Rubio later said that pre-notification would not have been possible. Instead, members of Congress were only briefed after the operation was already over. Rubio and Trump defended this, saying the operation was really a law enforcement mission tied to drug trafficking, not a war, so the war powers rules didn't apply. But critics say that's word games, because U.S. military aircraft dropped bombs on a sovereign nation and captured its head of state. That, they argue, is military action, and under U.S. law, Congress must be informed and must authorize war-level operations. So, what does the Constitution actually say? Congress, not the president, has the power to declare war. The president is commander-in-chief, meaning they can respond to immediate threats. But offensive action, like strikes in another country, is supposed to involve Congress. And after Vietnam, the War Powers Resolution of 1973 tightened that, requiring notification within 48 hours and limiting unauthorized conflict. Trump's team says this was policing. Legal scholars say if it walks like a war and looks like a war, it's war. And Congress isn't staying quiet. Republican Congressman Thomas Massie called the strikes unconstitutional, arguing Congress alone can declare war. Lawmakers from both parties are backing war powers resolutions to block escalation. Others are openly saying the capture of Maduro was illegal under U.S. and international law. And here's the thing, this debate isn't new. Past presidents have done similar things. Reagan in Grenada, Clinton in Kosovo, Obama in Libya. All launched military operations without full congressional authorization. Each time, the same question came up. How much war-making power should a president really have? But this case feels different because it involves capturing a foreign head of state, regime change, and openly saying the U.S. will temporarily run another country. That's why critics are calling this a turning point. So right now, the U.S. isn't just debating Venezuela. It's debating who gets to decide when America goes to war, the president or Congress. And that question might reshape U.S. politics and the Constitution's meaning for years to come.
Subscribe to One India and never miss an update. Download the One India app now.